Hey everybody, it's Aaron with Hunt Hard Talk Free, and on this episode I've got our very own Greg Johnson and Rod Schram. For those of you that don't know, Rod was a co-owner of Corlane Sporting Goods for, let's say, 30 years or so.
Yeah.
Been doing this your whole life, and retired and sold your portion of the business to Greg, who took over the custom gun shop.
Retired, retarded, not sure.
The jury's out on that one.
Yeah.
And they had a bit of a death-defying experience back in April. So I think people would like to hear what happened, what went down. Tell us your story.
Yeah. Why did that happen?
Well, why'd that happen? Well, you can't say that we planned on it. Definitely not something we figured at all would happen.
I can tell you it's not as much fun as it sounds.
So you guys had been, all winter long, you had been going out to Williston Lake to do some ice fishing, snowmobiling, just getting outside.
Yeah.
Rented some cabins.
For a bit of history, we've been up there for 7 or 8 years, probably 3 or 4 times every winter. So not really our first rodeo up there. And we've been up there later than that too, when the ice has been gone and we've walked up there. You know, it's pretty obvious when the ice goes, it goes quickly. But this year we've been up there, I think, 4 times.
4 times throughout the whole winter.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Kind of within a course of a month.
Yeah.
Each weekend go up for just a day. Yeah. Sometimes go up for a day trip. Sometimes we spent overnight when we brought the family up there.
Yeah, there's cabins you can rent up there. And we've caught some nice lake trout up there. So when the weather's good, we load up and get up the lake.
Yeah. On your birthday, what size fish did you catch?
Well, we caught, I think it would probably, without a scale estimation, like a solid 20.
So in the picture, you're holding it way out here, of course.
No, it was, we caught quite a few fish that day. It was good fishing and everything. And, just decent action, not one after the other or anything. But, the first fish I caught in the morning was pushing 20 pounds.
Nice.
Just a nice fish. And then Rod caught a couple. Cobus even caught one.
Nice.
Jigging in a standard old jig hook there, just yapping the whole day on the ice. And he actually caught a fish, which is surprising.
So, sorry, I got a bug in my throat. April 16th, you guys went out, same as usual, left town at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, headed out to Williston Lake. That day was a 18-degree day, 17-degree day in Dawson.
Turned out that way, yeah.
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 It was only about 2 above when we hit the water.
Yeah, I don't think it froze that night, but it was cool. But when we got to the ice, we got on the ice. Greg got the axe out and checked it right away, and it was solid. It was good. It's a foot to 18 inches thick, depending on where you go on the lake.
Yeah,
and the ice was solid. It was
looking good. Like when you chop it, I got no water coming through it. Like on my first chop.
Right.
Chop. I got sick of chopping. Come out nice chips, not in cubes.
Granular, rotten.
Good enough. Probably better ice than sometimes we've been out there already, right? Because the ice it comes and goes like quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went up the lake, fished on the way up, went to the Otter Tail, which is 40 miles up there probably.
It's 40, one way it's 47, 48 k's. So we're fishing about 50 kilometers up the lake.
So we fished all the way up there, drilled a bunch of holes, checked ice in various spots. Everything was good. But coming back, it was around 4:30. And because it got warm that day in town here in Dawson, I heard it was like plus 18 Celsius. Yep. So we came into one bay. And the bay is kind of unique in that it's got a bunch of cliffs, south-facing cliffs. So if you can imagine the sun passing by all day, shining off those, like deflecting off those cliffs, making that ice, a
lot of radiant heat.
A lot of radiant heat coming off the sun, and warm weather. It just softened up that ice, and things got different in a big hurry.
Yeah, and like we were fishing within about a mile of where we ended up having the issue. We were we stopped and drilled holes just outside the Schuler.
Yeah, we weren't far.
And I just walked up a hill or whatever, Rod was sitting fishing on the ice. We drilled 2 holes. I got sick of fishing. So I went for a hike up there, looked around, looking for bear sign and just different things. That was because it was nice out. The hills were starting to kind of not even green up, but they were getting close.
Yeah.
Just went for a look around. Went for about an hour-long hike, summited, looked over everything, come down, and you were still fishing. And that hole was solid ice. Little bit chunky when you're drilling it because we had the ion ice auger, like the electric one, and it drilled easier than real
it was
dense,
not
dense
hard.
ice.
It was not hard ice, which wasn't really surprising. We've been on that ice before. It's not solid ice like you're used to. In the,
Right.
You know, you can
Middle
tell
of
it's a
winter.
bit soft, but
Yeah. End of season ice.
end of season,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And the
yeah.
worst place that I chopped through for ice, I chopped 6 inches down before I got any water coming through the ice. You know, because that candling, it's through the ice.
Right.
So I mean, we're sitting on 6 inches of what
Of solid
looks like
ice.
solid ice, and then underneath the other 6 inches or 8 inches was fractured, and
Yep.
the water was moving through it. But I mean, Christ, it's about the norm. Go to One Island Lake at any time of the year, and that's about what it looks like, right?
Right.
But yeah, we were coming back. We hit this one bay. Greg is in front of me, and up a little bit to my right, and cruising along, and he slows down, and his back end falls through, and immediately I think, oh my God, he's hit a. There's methane holes in that ice in that lake. You got to watch for them.
Yeah. Okay, so there's methane gas bubbling up.
Yeah, so there's methane holes in that ice in that lake. You got to keep an eye out for. We've almost gone into them before, but we've never actually hit one.
And can you see them?
But yeah, you can see.
Yeah,
it.
Okay.
It's-
Lots of times you're like this though. You're just looking around, doing your
Yeah.
thing, and then you look
Ooh.
down and there's a 4-foot wide open. Woo.
Yeah,
But they're usually kind of solid water around them. Like if you get close to them walking, they're usually built kind of like a little volcano.
No, okay.
So they're
and
fairly
I would
trim.
normally not really be all that worried about them because you just
skip
you,
right
you-
over top
you
of them.
pin it. You just get away from them.
Yeah.
And it's again, the ice is solid. I've gone over lots of open water with my sled. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Not uncommon.
so. Anyway, yeah, open water. Greg fell through.
So it's
And
just
like-
the track
Well,
of your machine dropped
the
down.
Yeah,
back
so
end
I'm-
fell through.
I'm sifting along and I'm just looking around like a tourist, right? So we're coming into a bay which we were in earlier that day. Not, we crossed a pretty good, pressure ridge.
Yep.
At the next, the end of the bay, there was a pretty good pressure ridge there that was busted up and a little bit open, but we crossed probably 6 or 8 of them on the way up.
Yep.
They're common.
Yep.
There's so
On a
much.
big
Yeah.
body of water, you
Yeah.
get those.
So
'cause
anyway, I'm
everything
pulling
shifts.
into this bay, and just like Rod was saying, like the color phase of the ice changed. It was kind of more blackish, like there was water on top of it, kind
Yep.
of like, and then come off the white. And I was just looking around, looking at the hill. The sun was at her back, shining right up there. So I'm looking for elk and stuff like that, just being a tourist. And when the back of my sled just punched down, and then my runner boards kind of hooked into the ice, and I just pretty much pitched off of that thing and got away from my sled because
Yep.
I thought it was going
down.
I didn't have time to pin like nothing. It kind of caught me like this,
Yep.
and I just off the sled. And when I hit
and
the
you
ice,
never fell through. Did
when
you?
I hit the ice, I didn't fall through, and I'm just like, cause same thing. I didn't know what the frick.
Yeah.
I just know that it just went and planted. And my running boards are stuck in. My skis were stuck in. So,
Yeah.
and I had this new box I just made out of 3/4 plywood and a bunch of stuff. So it was a nice box. I could put all my gear in. My dog sits in it, and that was kind of hung up in the ice. It just cut a perfect trough right out.
Your
Boom.
track width.
Yep. So I'm standing there like fish, out
Like
of
a
water.
fish out of water, yeah.
Holy, and then Rod's 100 yards or whatever behind me, and he's coming. And again, he's assessing in his brain what's going on, and I'm thinking this ain't so good. I'm looking at him, and he comes sifting by, still on step pretty good, and he sees where I'm at, and then that's when I think,
Could
obviously-
you see my back end drop?
oh, when you went by me, it was open.
it was open.
It was
water.
open.
Okay.
So when he come by me, and then I seen the open water, when you made a big turn out to go back to whatever better ice maybe existed, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you were thinking like to pop the skimmer.
Yeah, well,
I'm just waiting for a drive-by where I could just
Yeah.
grab on. I don't care if I'm getting drug out of there. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, I head to shore. I'm sinking, and I knew I couldn't stop with my skimmer on. And anyway, I'm heading to shore, sinking. That wasn't working. Went back up the lake because, again, the color of the ice changed just behind where you went down.
Yeah, like
It went from dark to white, black to white almost. And I got back on that ice, and then I wasn't sinking anymore. Okay, here we go. So then I come around, and you were away from your sled a bit.
You
and
come in on the right side of me the first time, and then
yeah, so I was coming in thinking in my mind, okay, when I get close to Greg, he's going to have to just jump on, and we're frickin' pinning, we're pinning it to shore.
Yeah.
And I didn't get very far under that dark ice again. And same thing as Greg, it happened so quickly. It wasn't just, ooh, I think I'm sinking.
Better pin it. It was
just boom. And my track sunk through, and same thing, my running boards hung up on that candled ice and just pretty much stopped the machine dead. And I kind of half jumped, half catapulted from off the right side of my machine, landed, 6 or 8 feet away, and fell right through. So I was, up to here in this rotten ice, scrambling. Was I screaming? I don't know.
When you hit the ice, you went, because I think you hurt your shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Because after you said your shoulder was hurting.
Oh,
but when you hit the ice, when you went
probably
down.
knocked the wind out of me.
You
really.
went just, and I don't know if it was I was thinking, that's the cold weather hitting your nuts or whatever it is. Like, sploosh.
I don't think I felt cold.
No, I don't.
Just panic.
Panic. Just get out of this water. So I was clawing my way up out of that rotten mess. Got up, got on my feet, and walked 20 feet and fell through again. Sort of walking towards you.
Well, and you weren't even really on your feet when you fell through the second time.
Oh, really? I can't even hardly remember.
No, because I'm here. I'm kind of down, and you got on and then kind of scrambled, and then you were kind of just four hands down, and then busted your feet through again, and but you were more laid out the second time, a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it wasn't looking good.
No,
period.
it was really spooky.
And our sleds are, probably about 30 yards apart.
Yeah.
I was a little bit forward and Rod was here, and we were maybe 30 yards apart.
Yep.
And he punched through right there, and then coming toward me, punched through again. And this is,
Oh, another thing I was going to ask you. When I went by that first time, could you feel the wave of the ice? Was it liquid then?
Can't say I was paying attention to
that. You don't have all these details?
But I guarantee you, your proximity when you did the loop around the front, you're 40 or 50 yards in front of me. I could see the ice moving behind you, but I don't think it actually
waved up to you.
So my first go probably fractured the ice enough. It became so unstable because I never made it far into that black ice and I was down.
Yeah.
Second time.
Yeah.
So then we're both kind of laying there. What the effing are we going to do here? We're a long ways from shore. We're at least a couple hundred yards from shore. Yeah. But now, of course, my sled has cut a trough, cut us from shore.
Island.
Yeah, we're on an island now of ice or water.
With open water cutting us
moat
out.
around us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you asked me, do I have my inReach? And I said, I think it's on my sled.
Yeah.
I don't want to go near that sled because, of course, I just fell through and broke through the ice. I can't get near it. Yeah, it's just open, shattered ice.
Yeah, because you said yours was in your gearbox on your sled. And I said, mine's in my gearbox on my sled. At that point, because you asked, what do you have on you? I'm like, I had my binos, I had a lighter, I had this and that. But we didn't have inReaches around our neck or any of that kind of stuff with us.
Yeah, so
we knew
inReach on your neck.
And that's the third podcast we've done where that came up.
Yeah.
Keep it on your neck. Yeah. Robbie's grizzly attack, both he and Chris both said the inReach must be on your body.
Yes.
It's no good if it's not on your body. If it's in your pack, you're screwed. If it's on your sled, you're screwed.
Yeah.
It's got to be on you.
Yeah.
At all times.
I had a lighter, so we both knew that we had a lighter. If we can get to shore, inReach or not.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, we're not going to die.
Right.
No.
We really wanted that inReach.
You're wet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we don't know how much more wet we're going to be by the time we get to shore.
Yeah.
We had I laser range find from the shore back to the sled was 271 yards. So that's a long time.
In a straight line.
In a straight line.
Yeah, but we couldn't.
And we did not go in a straight line.
You couldn't. No, you couldn't go in a straight line. So yeah, Greg went back to
yeah,
his
we did
machine.
a gear. Well, first I went to yours. I actually went to your skimmer first because I was lighter. I went over to his sled, and that ice, I get near this because I wanted to get by the skimmer because it floats.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about the lid at first. I got close to Rod's sled, to the gearbox, no go. Like when I got close, my hands were just punching through like cookie cutters. He could just,
yeah,
and the exact shape of your hands. So that
Push
ice
through.
was just.
Like those little pin things that you
Yeah.
can put on
That's
your face. You
exactly
push
what
the
it's like.
pins
It
through.
just, you want to look what
Yeah.
my hand
Yeah.
looks like? It just
Yeah.
pushed right through. And then even when I went there by Rod's, even with all my forearms flat on the ground, legs laid right out real good, the moment you stop kind of moving, the whole thing just started
Wow.
pushing down and the water would come up around your arms.
Yeah.
So I pedaled out of there and then was like, okay, well, when I got pitched off my sled, I didn't go through. So the ice on the right side of my sled is better than the ice beside Rod's. And this is
so
30 yards apart.
From the right side of your sled, that's back out to the open water. That's out to the center of the lake,
Yes.
whereas towards Rod and into shore is the rotten stuff.
More rotten.
Yeah.
If you want to put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
So I followed my original foot tracks back to my sled and then was like, okay. Now, of course, I had a pack on the back of my sled with a bungee cord over it. 2 of them, actually, because I made this nice box. And so I had one going one way, one going the other way. I get to my sled and I grab the backpack and I'm leaning on it trying to get this bungee cord, which is under the water, hooked underneath my seat kind of area.
Yep.
So, and my knife is in my rain pants, which is in my box. So I can't cut the goddamn line. I have to go under the water because the other end's on the other side of my sled and I don't want to go around. So finally I get into the water and I'm holding the sled and and I get the one off. And then I had a pack and it had a frame, so it's kind of stable.
Yeah.
So then at that point, the sled's kind of going down. I pull my pack frame out and use it as a little ladder, and I kind of pushed it against the box because my green tote, which is like 18 by 18 green tote, been on every adventure I've been on, boats, whatever, just perfect for everything.
Yep.
At this point, I had an opening. I used that pack and I used a little ladder and I just slipped out and I could reach the handle on the backside and I just yanked it. And then I had the box. And the box has all sorts of good stuff in it. So that was a really nice feeling. So I get the box. Okay, step 1. Still haven't been off the ice.
And then that's your little buoyant device too. Like
yeah,
your
that was
slider.
and so I just used the box like a toboggan, and it's 18 by 18 and it has nice handles on it. And if it wasn't under the water completely, you could use it as a little flotation to hold you, to help you get up, whatever it be. Or if one of us went down, good handles, you could get close enough to a guy, you might be able to pull him out, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Yeah.
So I got my little box, so I'm just on my knees and I'm sliding this box like a little wagon across the ice, and then we kind of get close to each other, but we know we can't get real close to each other because
double up the weight in one
yeah,
spot.
because I
and you're
mean
both screwed.
watching Rod come across, watching me come across, we're not much difference in size, maybe 20 pounds difference, right?
Yep.
He was breaking through parts where I'm not.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's like,
Yeah, and there was no
Okay.
sitting still for very long, like Greg said. You put your hands and your elbows down, and you're sinking. You're sinking all the time.
You better
had to
be
keep-
moving.
You had to keep moving.
yeah, because you just. So when you're there and you're looking at that, you're looking at your buddy who's busted through 2 times. You're getting pretty worried
Yeah.
because this is in like this one little spot, within 20 yards of each other,
And you got to get 270
and we got to
yards
go 270 more yards of this
as
shit.
the crow flies.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
shore.
Yeah.
So
And you got a trough between you, ensure that that Rod's machine cut through.
yeah, which
Open water.
Open water.
open water,
Yeah.
which again proved which way not to go, which was a helpful scenario, right? I mean,
Otherwise, you'd take the
We're-
quickest path to shore.
at this point, we're not like we're concerned, but we're not panicking and going crazy and all this. But one thing I did that you didn't do, First thing I did when I hit the ice, and it was shitty, I untied my boots. Because I don't know if anybody's ever tried to swim in boots.
Boots will pull you down. They fill with water.
I had them things untied and hanging off my
Yeah.
feet. In, like, I don't even remember how long it took, but double knotted boots come off like poof. And
I had big ass rubber boots on. I need tools to get them off. They weren't coming off.
and I mean,
Get
I
the
just,
side cutters out.
Yeah.
oh, I was, you know, from all the times, guys, you know, I've fallen in the water working on the ocean and stuff like that, and you're wearing your gumboots and stuff, and holy, is it a struggle to get in good water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that was one thing I remember as I'm dragging my boots across, my laces are out, and I'm just, 'cause I'd rather get to
Kick
shore
them
without
off
boots
and- yeah.
than not.
So yeah, we shimmied towards shore.
With the new box in tow.
Yeah, yeah, and it was going okay. Then we got close to the old track, my track going back, and
Yeah.
open water.
Open water.
So we followed that back down the lake till we hit this white ice.
Yeah, it was just a significant spot. You could just see open water where it cut through, and then it bridged up,
Yeah,
and then he cut through again.
yeah,
And we had like half the length of this countertop where there was like this path where he'd bounced up and bounced down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, we're crossing here.
There's our path.
Yeah.
And we just kind of followed this jagged edge of whitish ice. And I mean, when we got to shore, of course, we took a photo or two, and you could, especially from a ways away, you could see it. And if I would have been probably on step a little faster than I was going, if I would have went to where you turned around, nope, no dice.
You would have went through either
Yeah,
way.
the ice would have. It was worse closer down the lake.
No,
You
okay.
got
Closer to that bay where I was heading.
another 100 yards, and it could be a different
Oh,
story.
I would have never been. You would have probably made it because I would have probably been already under the ice. You know, that would
Yeah,
have been,
and I might have pinned it to shore and
You
might have
would've-
made it. Yeah.
you know, because that's
Before you got to the black ice.
Yeah.
that's would have been your
on red
option
ice.
because
Yeah.
you ain't gonna pull anybody out of that shit. Not a chance. You're gonna watch your buddy
Yeah.
ploosh.
Yeah.
And that candled ice, I mean, it's like it's heavy and you can't move it.
Yeah.
When you grab it, it just folds like this, and the hole fills up with the next
More
wave.
candled ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we had shovels and stuff. Like after, just you couldn't clean out a hole to see
We've
into water.
We've got a little video we can post of that trying to dig out a machine when we got to shore.
Sure, yeah.
And what it was like just trying to dig out that ice.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was.
And it was
horrible.
It's a losing battle. So if you
And I
don't
mean,
have tools and you're trying to just save your own life, to
oh
swim through it,
God, no,
you're going down. It's like
you
quicksand.
need a frickin' propeller.
Yeah.
So we get to shore. We kind of high five. I don't think we hugged, but we were pretty fucking happy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
stress level just goes from
yeah,
pure 10.
we looked
Tell-
back at the machines and thought, well, I don't really care if I ever see those things again. At that point, we're
Good.
alive. We're gonna make it. We know we're not dying.
Yeah.
No.
We're wet, but it's warm out. It's
Yeah, it was decently warm
Yeah.
out, and I'm not concerned about that. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
people that panic about the hypothermia and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I can walk for 30 hours straight. We're all fat enough. We can walk for 30
Yeah.
hours. You know, you're not going to die.
And at
But-
this point, you're still, what was it, 22K from the boat
Mm.
launch?
Be 27.
Yeah.
Let's say 20 to 30 kilometers
Yeah,
from the
it's-
boat
it's-
launch.
oh, for
Closer
sure.
to 30 kilometers
To the
from the
nearest
trucks.
launch.
And there's no real road access there. So
There's
when you
no
think
roads.
about hiking out, you're hiking all the way back to the boat launch if you had to. If
Yeah.
you didn't have in reaches, if you didn't have
Oh,
anything
we
to-
would have stayed in place, but
Yeah.
the only
there
problem
would
with
have
that
been planes
too.
coming.
Yeah.
Somebody would have come looking the next
One of your
morning
wives
for
would
us.
Or honeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is our biggest fear is someone comes up on a sled looking for us. 'Cause
yeah.
That's it.
And I was worried because we got buddies with planes.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't know the difference. Well, I guess they would maybe if they come and flew over and looked at our sleds hanging there.
Yeah.
That, because if a plane landed, they'd have been down.
Yeah.
Any sled to come rescue, they'd have sunk. So the inReach was really good in that we could communicate how
Not
terrible.
to come out.
Yeah, do not come out with anything but a helicopter.
Yeah.
Or an airboat.
Or an airboat.
Later, when we
Yeah.
learned about
We'll
it.
get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we went to a spot on the beach. We walked about a half a mile, maybe, I
Yeah.
don't know, and to a spot where a helicopter could land. It was fairly flat. Found ourselves a little nest in the rocks and sort of stripped down. Got some clothes hanging up on.
Yeah, had a big
on the
flat
poles.
rock and
Yeah.
a pole, lit a
Got,
smoking fire.
After a bunch of in-reach communication, we didn't know if we'd be spending the night or not, so we thought, well, we better get some firewood, lots of it. I think
Who's going to be the big spoon? Who's going to be the little
Yeah,
spoon?
yeah.
Well,
So-
in my box, I actually had gear, like real gear.
Yeah.
I have a tarp.
Yeah.
I have a jet boil. I had snacks. I had a pair of dry boots.
My boots.
Rod's boots. Convenient. Stuff that you can't pack on your person.
Yeah.
But it's always with you. Doesn't matter if we're just going for a day drive.
Just in case.
That green toad always has tons of that stuff in it because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if your truck breaks down or this. It's the same scenario.
Yeah.
Bad weather, whatever, you get stuck. There's 2 days worth of, well, there's not 2 days worth of snacks, but I mean, we had boiled up some hot water. Poof, warms your guts up. Had a tuna snack for dinner. Pretty
I'm kind of
ritzy.
upset you didn't have any tea in there.
I know. I was actually
Kind
kind
of
of. I drink enough tea. You think I'd actually pack something?
Throw a
with
few
me.
tea bags in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we spent 3 hours gathering firewood. I was kind of hurting, wrecked my shoulder a bit scrambling there, but it was fine.
Yeah,
But,
so-
Big pile.
5:30, just to rewind the clock. So 5:30.
PM.
This is
Yeah.
Friday evening. 5:30. I get a call from your wife, Greg, from your wife,
Yeah.
and she's out running, and I just get this frantic call. Greg and Rod went through the ice. I'm an hour from home running. Can you make some calls, please?
so you don't know
Passing the
went
buck.
through
Eh?
the ice, what the hell that means, eh?
Yeah, it's just, and she did say, they said send a chopper. And I say, okay, well, I'll message Greg back and figure out what needs to be done. So she gives me the number to your InReach.
Ah.
I text you a message. 5 minutes later, I get a message back saying, you cannot text an InReach that has not first sent you a message. So I couldn't even send you a message. So then I have to call Carmen back and I wait for her to pick up. And I'm like, because I'm thinking, end of the, like, this is bad and I need to get on this ASAP.
These guys don't phone for helicopters.
No.
For anything.
And so when I call her back and I say, I'm not getting through, she's like, well, it's okay because Tam is on the phone, Rod, your wife, is on the phone with the RCMP lining things up to try and get search and rescue out to find you guys. And so I say, so is there anything we can do? She says, nope, we're on it. Or search and rescue's on it, the RCMP are on it, and we'll keep you updated. So there were, I think Tam then set up a group chat for kind of the whole family to send us little messages to let us know what's going on and stuff. And so, well, pack up at the store. It's the end of the day, and I guess we'll just wait. So waiting for the call that the choppers picked you guys up. Well, 9:30 rolls around. Get a text from Tam, and they're going to pick you guys up in the morning. And at this point, I'm like, well, had we known at 6, we would have reached out to Bailey Helicopter. We would have reached out to whoever. Just here's $1,200, whatever it is, to fly from Fort St. John to pick you up.
Yeah.
Get you guys back. But the whole line of communication for search and rescue, and then they want to do their thing and assess the situation. And
Yeah.
so then we're kind of upset and texting the whole group. Well, they're going to be there overnight. And well, are they okay? Do they have food? Are they warm? Are they dry? And the messages that just went back and forth amongst the whole family, looking in on you guys. So then it was a pretty somber, silent evening. I'm washing dishes at 11 o'clock at night. And that's when I get the phone call from John Stewart, who's a great friend of all of ours, guy that I went sheep hunting with. And he calls and says, Aaron, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, I'm guessing we're going on a rescue mission. He says, yep. I'm like, okay, well, I'm scheduled to work, so I got to find someone to work for me. So, Mom, can you work for me? Yes, get out there, do what you got to do. And so John says, I've lined up some boats, a couple of airboats, and we're heading out at 4:30 in the morning, and we're going to go out and get these guys. Okay, pick me up. And so at that point, well, now we've got a plan of action. I'll throw it back over to you guys to then jump in.
Well, yeah, during this whole thing, I honestly figured we had lots of time for, to organize a helicopter. Because it's 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I got a text at 5, or Carmen called me at 5:30.
It's April.
It's early. It's light out.
It's light out
It's
for a long
18
time.
degrees.
Yeah. So, And so, long story short, so we're texting back and forth with Tam, of course, and she's now playing the phone tag game for us, right? We're not directly in contact. We didn't hit the SOS rescue button because we're not in. We got rid of our dire needs.
Yeah.
We're now on shore. We're just uncomfortable camping.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever. We've all been there lots of times. But there's no real way other than a chopper to get to where we're at.
And
Just
from what I've
isolated.
heard, it's better if you can do a direct line instead of going the SOS route through your inReach. Because from what I've heard, is it goes to a call center. The call center goes to this place. This place goes to certain.
Just adds four more people
there's
to
a
it.
whole there's quite a chain of command that they have to go through before you actually get help.
Fair enough. And like we know most helicopters don't fly at night or whatever.
Yep.
So I mean, okay, we have a 5-hour window. Yeah. We need rescue. We're not dead. But send a helicopter. I mean, they're 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
Right? If that. So we started texting Tam, of course, back and forth, and then we get a message that the search and rescue guys were sending out their ice guys
To assess the ice.
to assess the ice. And when we heard that, both of like I was pretty hot, like to say the least. I don't get fired up about much, but I'm like, call search and rescue and cancel the request. Period. Do not send someone out on the ice to come save us when we know that this ice is a death trap.
Yeah.
Like, get that message out. Like, I don't care if I'm here for 2 days.
Yeah, I think the message was don't send anyone because they will die. And if they don't die and they happen to make it here, we're not getting on with them.
Yeah.
Because we'll all die.
Yeah.
It's a really, really terrible idea. It's not sleddable,
There was
period.
9 kilometers, that whole shoreline that was as thick as this glass. Like, it blew up.
Yeah.
It was impassable. It was impassable by a small freaking woodland creature, let alone a snow machine, right?
But I guess they have to do their due diligence and assess the damage or assess the risk factor for themselves, not let a patient or a victim, a rescued person make
That could
the
be
call
in a
for them.
stressful situation, just over exaggerating the whole
Yeah.
scenario. Now,
So-
being who we are and what we've done and everything, like I say, I don't blow smoke, right? Neither would you. I'm not panicking.
Yeah.
I'm just telling them how it is. No, do not send that. And no, we're not going to get on the back of a sled. We just dodge death. We don't need to reinvest ourselves in that lake ice. No. But they did send out a team. They went like 11 kilometers up the lake. They experienced waving action and got the heck off the lake.
I didn't hear that. I didn't know that they had gone 11K.
They came.
Oh yeah, they were
sleds or side by sides. Yeah.
They were first going to take a side by side with tracks. Thankfully, someone at least pumped the brakes on that deal. But again, communication from RCMP to search and rescue, and this message getting to them, basically, the dire message of do not go on the ice because it might be good right there at Dunlevy.
Yep.
But it gets bad.
Yeah.
Not far away. So they did their thing. Of course, they pulled out, thankfully, just before dark. But if they would have went down, it would have been a double rescue mission. And those guys probably wouldn't have got picked up because they hit the lights late.
And the problem with that lake, too, there's so many areas where we're fortunate in that where we sunk, we could get to shore.
Yeah.
There's places along that lake with cliffs. You can't scale these cliffs.
Nope.
You
And
don't
some of
have
them
our
are
rock
sand
climbing
cliffs.
gear.
Well,
Yeah,
You can't even
you
move.
go 150 yards back the way you came, and it's all those cliffs that the sand blows off at all times. You're not crawling that.
Yeah, you could be in serious trouble out there, not able to get off the ice. It would be.
If your silhouette balked on that mission, you would be done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, they turned around, peeled out, fine and dandy. We
Said the chopper will be out in the morning.
We didn't know that, but that's just how we assume. See you in the morning.
So we got everything dried out, had a fire going, sort of snuggle under this frickin' tarp.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
Thought we saw UFOs. We'll talk about that some other day. But
no, we need to get into that today.
UFOs?
Yep. We need to get into that.
So we saw.
Well, I was kind of sitting around, and Rod's like, "Are you seeing this?" And I'm like, "What? What are we seeing?" And then he's just,
oh my God, there's satellites coming one after another. I think I counted 21 coming from sort of south northbound. And then before
but not knowing they're
finished,
satellites yet.
Not knowing what they are. And then all of a sudden they start coming from the west towards the east I think I counted like 40 of them going that direction, intersecting. And I just had no idea about Elon Musk's, what's it called?
Starlink.
Starlink satellite system. We thought, oh my God, we're seeing UFOs in real time.
Just, it looked like organized flights, just boom, boom.
Yeah.
And just one after the other. And we're just like, and then 3 would be visible and then they disappear. And then another 3, you know, it went on a long time. And then of course my phone, which is, my inReach has a busted screen. So the only way I can text out is on my phone.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, should I be burning up my 12% battery on filming UFOs? But I'm like,
Yep.
So I get that out, and literally at that point, it all goes quiet.
Yeah, they went away.
They went away.
So
I'm like,
the
they
aliens knew.
They knew. I was trying to film it. You know, through my binos and stuff and all that jazz, trying to get this thing on film.
You know, the next morning, that was almost more exciting to me than the rescue. I thought,
Yeah.
we just saw UFOs, dudes. It
And
was
not one.
awesome.
like 40
like
of them.
50 or 60 of them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But thanks, Elon Musk.
For
Or
getting our
that's what
hopes
the
up.
government tells you.
Yeah.
Huh?
Government is
Yeah.
shady.
That's just satellites.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look back in history and talk to people that have worked out at the dam, there's stories of UFOs over the dam.
My uncle, he said he saw many of them. He took a shot at one day. I don't know if that's true, but he claimed he did.
Look for downed small passenger planes in the area, but
Yeah.
it was Uncle Henry.
Yeah.
Too funny.
So there's lots of stories like that. So you could understand why if they're checking out our great accomplishments of
Yeah.
hydro dams.
Anyway, so next morning, I don't know what time was it, 6:30.
6:45, quarter to
Yeah.
7, somewhere right in there.
We heard the chopper coming. That was a nice sound. Pretty chilly, long night. Anyway, they landed in there. We knew one of the guys.
Yep.
Good customer from Corlane's here. Good, solid dude. We were really happy to see him, and he was happy to see us because he said the last ice rescue mission he was on, he pulled out a corpse, so that wasn't much fun for him.
Recovery, not a rescue.
Recovery, yeah. So it was all good. Everyone was very happy to see each other, and very good spirits.
Yeah.
So what is maybe a 10-minute flight out
Oh
of there?
God, yeah, it was just
Little orientation sign here. 10-minute flight. We're back in the truck. Oh,
yeah.
life's pretty good.
Rod
Did
actually
they
had
offer-
his key in his pocket.
And it never got wet. Yeah, it
Yeah.
stayed right here.
And did they offer to take you to the hospital or back to your trucks or what?
Wherever we want to go.
So
You said Mexico.
Yeah.
yeah, they
A hot beach would be nice right
they
about now.
basically we we and them assessed us. We were not in medical need.
Right,
yeah.
We,
Yeah, and he came and made sure my truck would start, so he didn't leave us there unattended. So they were awesome. They were excellent.
pop, pop, pop. Yeah, just how it's
And
just
so-
how it's supposed to be. Pros, right?
Is that STARS or is that Search and Rescue?
Search and
Or is
rescue.
that
It
just
was
Bailey
search and
helicopter?
rescue, and they contracted Bailey for the
Okay.
helicopter.
Yeah, it was a Bailey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bailey's helicopter.
Yeah.
The pilot, yeah. And it's kind of funny. He's like, oh, that's, yeah, the guy that we know there, he's like, yeah, they're okay, guys. They built me a couple guns, so we'll give them a ride out.
He said, all that stuff I was saying about them earlier, never mind that stuff.
Yeah.
They're actually good guys.
Those idiots, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they were cursing us.
Yeah. What kind of fool goes out on the ice in this?
Yeah, what kind of idiots are out there? Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah.
Not the only people.
Anyway, so as we were ahead, our plan then was to get to cell service, get back to Hudson Hope, get some coffee and maybe some food in our gullets, and start making the next plan, which we weren't sure what to do. And we bumped into Aaron and John coming down the road with these
Airboats.
buddies with
Yeah,
airboats.
Didn't even make it 10 minutes from the launch. Didn't
Yeah.
get any cell service yet, so
Yeah.
shot a one quick inReach message out.
Yeah, so
Aaron's
they
here,
stopped. They're throwing
and we're
us
heading back out.
thermoses of coffee and fresh
Bags of food.
sandwiches and
Bagels, and are you guys ready to go? And we're like, well, looks like it.
Yeah, I remember asking, John asked, do you guys want to come with us? We're going to go do a recovery mission of the equipment, your machines. Do you guys want to go or are you heading home? And there was like a, hell yeah, we're coming.
Yeah, what do you mean go home?
Yeah,
What
go
is this
home or
go
what?
home?
Yeah.
So we spun around, and there's two guys who don't really want to be mentioned in this, who are the unsung heroes here that own the two airboats.
Yep.
That were both
guys that
gung-ho.
none of us have ever met. Never
Yeah.
met them once in our lives,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just a couple of cool guys that have equipment.
have been customers in here, but we weren't aware of who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John called a person who said, yeah, I know some guys with some airboats. Called them. The one guy said, I'm in. The other guy said, I'll see if I can make this work. And damn good guys that met us in Fort St. John at
So
at 5
plan
in the morning.
Plan at 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Ready to go by 4:30 in the
And
morning.
the one guy had to figure out how he's getting insurance on the trailer to get the boat out and stuff. And he made it happen. And so we had out with these
solid
two airboats.
dudes rescuing strangers.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guys.
Yeah.
But like they said, what else do you do?
Yeah.
You know,
someone
this
needs
is stuff.
help.
This
Yeah.
is stuff that we do as a hobby.
Yep.
And like anything, you're not going to leave your buddy sinking in a boat in the ocean.
No.
You
Someone needs help. You've got the equipment to help them, and that's what they said at the end of the trip. I mean, I'm jumping ahead, but the one thing that really stuck out was one day when I need help, I hope there'll be someone that'll be there to help me, and that's why I do this.
and there should be a list of 100 people at all times.
Yeah.
Don't ever burn a bridge.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people remember
Yeah,
that.
they wouldn't accept a nickel for fuel.
Nope.
They would
Would not take
they were
payment.
almost insulted. Like they just were
Yeah.
happy to help.
Yeah,
And
we
they're
offered
like,
them a Corlane's. Can we give you like a Corlane's gift card or something like that? And they were insulted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not why we do this.
no.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what's better, to go to work or do this?
Yeah, we
Oh,
could have
yeah,
been at
they
work
were.
today.
Could have been at work today.
It was a hell of a good day, really.
Oh,
Well, so rewind the clock back to 11 o'clock at night when John called me and said, you want to do this airboat mission? Yeah, that's going to be phenomenal. But of course I had to tell my wife, honey, we're going out to rescue people. It's not about fun. It's about saving people's lives. And I'm like, airboats. And so I'm thinking it's going to be like you see on the Swamp People, this open concept airboat. So I've got helmets and goggles and everything ready to be open concept,
Yeah.
loud. Because John's like, I don't know what these boats are all about, but they're fully enclosed, phenomenal, warm. They've got the heater going. They're
Oh,
great.
yeah.
But I get a message from Tam saying search and rescue advises against using airboats on the lake. It is dangerous. They advise against it. Again, I didn't tell my wife that text came through. 'Cause she wouldn't have wanted me to go if that was the case. And I'm like, I know, we got to go up there and make this happen.
Yeah, you only
So-
got a short window.
We get into the boats, and the guy that we're with, he opens a couple zippers, pulls out a knife, like a filleting knife, and sets it on the dash of the boat. It's bright orange. And we've got our headsets on at this point. You didn't have one on at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And he advises me, that knife is to cut open the roof if things go sideways and we go down. And he says, nice to see we've all got life jackets on, but they're just going to be for the recovery mission of our bodies if things go south. So I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, okay, the knife's there. It's within reach. I'll have to, if we hit something,
And I know nothing about this. I don't know what to do.
Cut open to let the three of us get out to die freezing to death in the water.
So there's no way to shore.
No, we're now out in the middle of the lake cruising along. And so I'm freaking out, holding on to anything I can, thinking, oh, the boat did this, the boat did that, the boat wiggled, because I'm freaking
Till we got
out.
airborne.
and then yeah, we're cruising at 60K roughly,
Yeah.
and hit one of those cracks, and I smoked my head off the crossbar because I'm just sitting in a little stool in the middle of the boat and came smashing down, and everyone laughed. And so then latch on to anything you can hold on to for the rest of the ride. So we airboat out the 30K
Yeah, it
to
was
where
an
you went
airboat.
down.
I think we were about 45 minutes to get there
Yeah.
by airboat.
Breaking through the whole time.
Yeah, the boats would break through
Yeah,
and
the
come up
ice
and break
was-
through.
We were leaving a wake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
An
It was
ice wake
water.
behind
And
us.
even when, if you're really cooking on it, your boat, because you were in front of us a ways, and we didn't get real close to you, so if you got in trouble, we could maybe help you.
Yeah.
No, both go careening into a hole and get stuck.
Yeah. Kept some distance.
Yeah.
That's also why they like to run two boats together. If one has problems, you've got a second one to help out.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, and any search and rescue that deals with water, ice issues, airboat's the ticket.
Oh yeah.
Helicopter's good, but
Yeah.
airboats,
Airboat, you can
It's the
stop.
answer.
You can
Yeah.
stop and bob around and dink. Helicopters,
Yeah, you
great to
can-
go in, extract, out.
You're not landing a
Yeah.
helicopter out on that ice.
No, in the airboat, it's like, should we get off the ice? Well, let's go park on shore. Oh, let's go park in the bush. You know,
Yeah.
like frick, you
They go anywhere.
Yeah.
anywhere. With
Yeah, they're
800 horsepower helps.
Yeah. Yeah. 775 in the one and 550 in the other.
Yeah.
Top speed of like 120 kilometers an hour or something crazy.
Ridiculous.
Would be awesome.
So have we learned anything? I guess it is that we need
Get an
airboat.
airboat.
Get an airboat.
First
Yeah.
it was the riverboat. Next up an
No.
airboat.
Yeah.
You got to
So-
have one of each.
So we get out, get on shore, unload the boats, and send one boat out.
Yeah.
Because when we got there, your machines were still running. You didn't tell about
Oh,
your
yeah.
machine.
Well, mine, because when I pitched off my machine, long story short, I didn't have the cojones to get up on my knees to hit the kill switch after I got my toe top.
And neither of you have tethers, right? They're not mountain machines.
No.
They're not
Yeah.
designed to be rolling in the mountains and pull a
No.
tether.
I just fortunately hit mine with my hip on the way over. I think
When
I
your
was-
body smashed into the
Yeah, I
handlebars,
was kind of flying off.
you hit the kill
So
switch.
mine
Yeah.
shut off immediately.
Mine, not so much.
Yours idle till 4 a.m.
Yeah. So, and it was kind of one of those things, the headlights shining up in the sky, and you could hear it, blah, 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 blah. When the wind would change, you'd hear it gurgling. And then at about 4:30, light went out, and it was like, sink or swim, you know, like,
Did it go down or did it just
50-50.
run out of fuel?
yeah. So, and in the
We had a
morning,
bet on how long it would run. I think you won that bet.
it was close.
I think I owe you a toonie.
Yeah, it might have didn't have much to bet with. But it went, yeah, because it went
Yeah.
almost 10 hours idling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take the airboats out, hook on some buoys.
Got some Scotch buoys and gear. And then, yeah, because mine stayed up. We got the boat to it, buoyed it off.
Yeah.
And then it broke through the ice because we disturbed the ice. And then when we got close to rods, the moment we got 20 yards away from it, the ice just moving from the boat, rods goes down.
I've got that on film, but it's from a long ways away because I'm back on shore filming that. But you can watch as the boat comes up, the machine's just slowly sinking as the boat comes up to it.
And
Oh,
then,
it was spooky, but it was all held up by my skimmer.
yeah, Rod has
it
a
was
big
awesome.
tub skimmer.
Yeah.
And it just was, well, the creepy part was like, I hope the hitch pin's locked. Because it just went down and it was hanging straight up and down off that hitch pin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got a little bit of footage we can throw on the video on YouTube of dragging the skimmer back to shore, and the skimmer's just getting chewed up and spun around, and just praying that the machine's still attached because you
Yeah.
have no idea.
Well, we had got, because in the
first-
skimmer,
the
we got out
second
this
time-
harpoony looking thing we had for
Yeah.
I don't know when. And John speared something of Rod's sled, and we got it up a bit,
Yeah.
and then
We got
I-
a rope around the bumper.
yeah, I took
Yeah.
my lake fishing jig,
Yeah.
like my big spoon,
Yeah.
and we dug out the ice through that candled bullshit because
Yeah.
you can't see through it. Dug it out to the seat, then you could see his bumper, and I used my fishing rod and I dropped the lure down and went around the bumper. Like, it was so sweet. Because when the hook falls, it falls like this,
Yeah.
and I literally just shoop, and the hook sat on the mud flap like this.
Yeah.
And then I took the eyelid of my rod, went down and hooked the hook, pulled it up, tied the rope to the hook, back through. Now we have a rope around Rod's sled as
Attached to the boat.
Fished out a 600-pounder.
Yeah, first try. So now we had backup to it.
Yeah.
But the skimmer was floating, and we're dragging it through the ice, and it's just
Yeah.
garage sailing around.
Yeah.
But the snow machine's just underneath the water, getting towed by the boat.
Yeah. Got her up on shore.
Rescued your spotting scope that was just lightly bungee cord to the seat.
Yeah.
Your binos in the unzipped freaking pouch.
Oh, yeah, another tech tip. Buy good optics. Swarovski has already repaired my drowned spotting scope, and it's crisp and clean, like brand new.
Yeah.
My binoculars, I'm just waiting on them. But yeah, no questions asked, no charge, full warranty.
Awesome.
Sunk spotting scope half full of water, no questions. Awesome.
Spend the money on your optics.
Get what you pay for.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was a little bit of, looked like there could be a goldfish living in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really was only in the water for
An
an
hour.
hour.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
fully submerged.
Yeah, they're not
That's
waterproof.
Quite a bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Because that thing was 10 feet down at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but quite a deal when you're looking at a rope and you're like, because you can't see through that ice. Even as all broke up, you could not see 1 inch under that ice. It was so weird that way.
Yeah.
'Cause you're just looking at this tight rope and you pull on it, you're like, I think it's still there. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
And then getting it onto shore was a bit of a task.
It was a task because there was a shelf of ice still attached to shore that the machine wanted to jam under as you're pulling into shore. So had to have guys in the boat lifting while we pulled on shore and lift and pull. And it was all we could do for 5 of us
Yeah,
that were there.
because someone forgot the winch.
It was back at the truck.
Yeah. And then, we wanted to leave that one. Well, it was too heavy to throw in the boat. So we wanted to leave the sleds.
Leave them on shore and hopefully get back there before anyone else
Borrows them.
picks them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, jet boat mission. Well, I think the ice went out 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Roughly, the ice
It was
went out
May
and we boated
4th
up
or
and
3rd, yeah.
put it up on planks on a jet
On
boat
a dog
and
box and
drug it home.
Had a good day.
did some
Yeah.
trolling off the back of a snow machine.
Got some
you
good
know?
pictures on doing that. Beautiful day on the lake. So to rewind back to after we're all back in the truck, we're driving home. What was it like getting home?
Oh, a little different.
Oh, really good.
I got in shit the moment I got home. Of all things, I get in shit because I didn't text enough from my inReach. Not anything else.
Yeah.
The fact that I didn't keep like a play-by-play list of what's going on. I'm like, I managed to survive this. I did organize a text. I only have 10% of my battery life left. I'm sorry I didn't have a play-by-play Instagram because I'm not.
You're not the tech guy.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to know what I'm doing, you better be standing next to me because that's it.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I get in crap. And I was like, I don't think that's the focus here. But I laughed. Anyway. But no, it was weird. It was really hard to like, you know, yeah, it's different talking to your friends or whatever. But when you're talking to your honey and your kids come rolling in and they want to hear about what's going on, you're like, yeah, I kind of like you guys. It's a nice feeling to be home. Yeah. Because it's totally different when you're talking to your honey.
Through
after
the whole
that.
experience, it was not really a problem until I think Sunday night when I actually had supper with my wife and I told her what was happening. And it was...
That's when the reality hit. That it could have been the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no. That is pretty much the 100%. You're a goner if you go through it, right?
Yeah.
And we know that.
Yeah.
And it ain't. It's nothing to flirt with, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, it's weird, and especially when you're with your buddies too. You
Yeah.
know, like, what do you got? You might live, you might die. You know.
Yeah.
Spooky business.
Rod, you mentioned at some point in our travel back or on that day, you mentioned that you've been through 4 or 5 or 6 life near-death experiences.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And how did this rank amongst them?
The worst.
Yeah.
Because it took so long. You know, there was so... it took so long. Like, I've been in a really bad accident with my truck, a horse accident. Most
the time you
things
just about
happen.
drowned you?
What's that?
The time you just
Drowning.
about drowned you?
Yeah, I
Going
almost
over the
drowned
falls and the rafts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just about drowned in a raft, but it's generally over in seconds. You know, the whole ordeal
You've got terror for this
just
long.
a short period of time. This took a long time. When we were out on that ice looking back at shore, it was horrifying. You know, we just did not know if we were going to make it, and it's still, you know, it still haunts me.
Yeah.
I still wake up at night. You know, it's spooky.
The PTSD is there. It's real.
Yeah, and it's, you know, different. Yeah, and different things you do, you're like, you think about it different. You know, you just, especially close after. I mean, you're like, yeah, if I go boating, what am I bringing different? You know,
Yeah.
like, a lot of different processes go through. I mean, like most things, certain things dull over time, but you remember those things.
And you guys have had experiences on that lake where there were near.
Oh,
when you had Libby on behind you.
Yeah,
and
same thing. Cruising
similar
around.
sort of situation. It's not like it was the first experience with this sort of incident.
No, and it's one of those ones where, just a testament to how things change so rapidly. Because even the day that we were out with Lib, and it was quads, and there was people quadding around. There was 3 or 4 parties out there. But same thing. End of the day, coming back, parts of the ice just turned to weird, like.
And for anyone that doesn't know, Libby is Rod's teenage daughter. Daughter in her early 20s now.
Yeah.
That was out with you.
Yeah, I think that, spring ice, I just will never go on it again. I just never again. It can be stable in one spot and it's a death trap at another, or, stable that morning and death trap that evening, which is what happened to us.
Yeah.
It is not to be trusted. Spring ice is not to be trusted.
Were you in that bay on the way out?
Yes.
So that was solid ice on the way on the trip out.
Morning.
Yeah. And by the afternoon.
Yeah, we stopped. We were walking around. It was just fine.
Yeah.
Just that one afternoon of hot, intense sunshine.
That water just pushed through it, connected those pillars.
It does not take long.
No.
Yeah.
And the lake moves a lot too, right? Like the wind and all the movement of the ice, it's always active and it's so alive compared to a puddle.
So what would you do? What would you do different, or what would your recommendations be for anyone else to save their lives? Anyone that's listening to this?
Man.
I guess if you're on any ice, if it's warm out and the ice looks, and again, this candled, and I think you'll show pictures of it.
Yep.
Stay off. Just get off it.
Yep.
It's not worth screwing around with.
Crossing a small fraction of it to get to the other side.
Yeah.
Sure, one thing, because you can just be boom and all gone.
Yeah.
But when you're traveling 50 kilometers, you can't stop every kilometer and check all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good, bad, good, bad.
Yeah, and it's even, again, I've gone over lots of places over open water with solid ice, and you want to cross a river and you go, sometimes it's this deep. There was one that was way deeper than that. But open water is different too, because this candled ice, I stopped like that. And what happens, you break through and your running boards catch that ice and stop you dead.
It's not like you can pin it to get out of there.
You can't get out of it.
Yeah.
It's
too
not
fast.
normal.
When I hit, it was like hitting a wall. I just, and same thing as you, I just, boom, and I, off the thing. And
so maybe if you had a 250 horse machine or something, maybe you could stay on top of it, I guess. Probably.
If you were going fast enough. And,
well, if you're standing on the throttle, sure.
Yeah.
But no. What happens when you can't be on the throttle?
Mm-hmm.
No, just stay off it.
Yeah.
But for those out on the ice, what did you learn from this experience? So say you're out on what you think is safe ice, but there could be worst case scenario out there. What would you have done different?
Probably just floater coat. Just wear a floater coat instead of a normal coat.
Yep.
That would at least give you upper body mobility.
Yep.
That would help.
And you could
spikes. They say you hang, like the kids' gloves that hang off strings.
Yep.
That you have spikes that you could
dig into the ice.
Yeah. They wouldn't have helped us though with that ice.
It was too rotten.
Too rotten. But with solid ice spikes, you can dig in and claw your way out.
And just in reach on your body.
In reach on your
neck. Have a pocket.
In that scenario, our only hope, if we, thinking about it or whatever, literally was to potentially unpin a sled and get a skimmer, like lay in the skimmer. But I mean, what, like?
But you couldn't.
You couldn't get
near it. Yeah.
It floated. It would probably float. I don't know if it'd float. Well, I'd probably float both of us. But how do you get it in a skimmer?
Could you have swam out of that rotten ice in a floater coat? I guess you might have. In a true floater coat?
Because your front upper half, your legs wouldn't go down as bad. You'd be up. Yeah, so your core temp would stay okay.
Yeah.
You could do better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think I'd want to try 300 yards of swimming in that probably help.
Yeah, I guess if you had to go on that ice, stay bloody close to shore and have a floater coat and spikes. And,
Yeah, and the worst part about that lake is you don't usually want to be next to shore because it's all shitted out all year
yeah,
long.
it's rotten.
Because
Mm.
the lake level changes. It's
Yeah.
always fractured and broken near shore.
Yeah.
There's tons of holes in it.
I
Near
think
shore,
just
so-
stay off that ice.
Yeah,
Just don't go on that
probably.
rotten ice.
Yeah.
That time of year, it's just not.
When the weather starts to
Safe.
change, you're done.
Stay off.
Just
Or
stay
if you're,
home.
if you're
Yeah.
on it, rally. And then rally to a point. Boom.
Yeah.
And then rally to the next one. I don't know.
But it's not worth it.
It's not
so
worth
much.
it.
No.
Or
nothing on that lake's worth dying for.
have,
Nope.
have a
No.
have a freaking boat behind you. Tow a dinghy.
Yeah.
Take an airboat.
Yeah,
Take an
take an
airboat.
airboat.
Pretty well guaranteed.
Airboat or 250 horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a flotation suit.
yeah.
Like one of those air rafts.
So there you go. That's the story from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
So you always hear little bits of these stories, but they're so different hearing it right from the experience and the different things that each of you will remember. It was great to have you both in to tell it at the same time.
Yeah. Kind of spooky even talking about it still. Someday that'll go away, I'm sure, but not yet.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing this story, and yeah, hopefully it's the last experience like that we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
adventure to be relived.
Excellent. Well, if you have a similar story or any other death defying story you'd like to come in and tell, reach out to us here at Corlane 7822111. You can email me, Aaron@corlanes.com. Let's get you in for a podcast and get out there and hunt hard. This episode was brought to you, all of you, by Ballistics Custom Turrets, and thanks for signing in.